Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again, and welcome to The Roads with Belle. Today is January 19th, 2025, and this is episode 74 of The Roads Not Taken, which is a weekly series where we go over the news that was unreported, underreported, didn't get the coverage we felt that it should, or we just found it interesting. And then we go over a few questions from y'all. And today is January 19th, and it's National Popcorn Day. I feel like we're going to need a lot of popcorn this year. And on this date in 1999, the first BlackBerry phone was released. I loved that phone. And starting with foreign policy, both Russia and Ukraine are digging into their positions in the lead up to Trump's attempt to start talks to bring the conflict to a close. A ceasefire is set to begin in Gaza. I know in a lot of U.S. news, the announcement occurred days ago, but it wasn't approved. It's worth remembering there is a difference between a ceasefire and a peace deal. This is a ceasefire. Netanyahu has expressed that he reserves the right to restart military operations, and they're using the language of calling it a pause or temporary. He stated that he has the full backing of Trump to restart military operations. This has the potential to lead to a peace deal, but there are a lot of hurdles. Talks about getting a real peace deal are set to start in a couple of weeks. 2 judges in Iran were assassinated inside the Supreme Court. It's unclear how the government there will respond. In U.S. news, Giuliani has reportedly settled with election workers in a dispute about handing over assets to them. President Biden felt compelled to remind military service members to remember their oaths during his farewell at DoD. That's so sad. Trump's inauguration has been moved indoors due to weather. Trump's border czar says mass deportation raids will begin this week. Biden declared the Equal Rights Amendment has been ratified and is now part of the Constitution. Expect a bunch of legal battles over that in the future. There will be an explainer video down below on the amendment. Democrats attempted to push DOJ to release the entirety of Jack Smith's report on Trump's activities. That seems incredibly unlikely. In cultural news, an Australian woman has been arrested for allegedly poisoning a one-year-old child and using the situation to solicit monetary donations online. Governors around the country are ordering flags to be at full staff on Inauguration Day, breaking U.S. tradition and flag code to appease Trump's ego. These orders were given before Trump's inauguration was moved indoors due to the weather. Flags being at half staff aren't a sign of distress or a bad sign for the start of Trump's administration. Breaking with tradition and code to satisfy the whims of one man is. Trump launched a cryptocurrency meme coin. It shot up in value almost immediately. In science news, Trump's energy czar indicated the U.S. will lose the AI arms race without fossil fuels. Apparently, the energy czar is unaware of nuclear energy. In economic news, enforcing the latest congressional immigration bill, the Laken-Riley Act, will roughly cost an additional $30 billion its first year. That's more money Republicans will now need to find cuts for if they want to offset the additional cost and give rich people their tax breaks. The day after Trump takes office, the Treasury Department will have to implement extraordinary measures to avoid hitting the debt limit. This puts additional pressure on working out a debt limit deal. In Oddities, Elon Musk posted that, quote, "About a year ago, A guy tried to kill 3 ex-employees with an axe outside the former Twitter HQ in SF. They reported it to the police, but nothing was done. He later killed someone with that axe. A spokesperson for the San Francisco cops said, quote, "Based on the information provided, we cannot find any incident that matches this description in that location in 2023 or 2024. Y'all can make of that what you will. Okay, on to the Q&A. What can we expect in the early days of the Trump administration? Drama and trauma? I'm kidding. I feel like I'm going to be spending a lot of time reading and going over his executive orders this week. And then once we see those, we'll have a clearer picture of what we're heading into. Until then, it's just guessing based on what he says, and that's never actually done anybody a lot of good. Don't worry, I will be doing videos on the main channel about them. Bell. Donald Trump says it's necessary to annex Greenland in the interests of national security. Vladimir Putin says it is necessary to annex Ukraine in the interests of national security. Can you please explain the difference between these two national positions, apart from the fact that one is for the good guys and one is for the bad guys? Greetings again from Australia, where we admire your democracy and sometimes laugh at and simultaneously fear its implementation. Okay, so this one is going to require a lot of mental gymnastics from a lot of people. People will not want to admit this, but the key difference is there's not one. They're both wrong. There is nothing that requires the U.S. to annex Greenland. Greenland is important, but we don't have to annex it. We could, just treat Denmark as an ally, or treat them as a country that's been an ally for decades. What's going on with the ERA? A mess. A mess is starting unless they just ignore Biden's proclamation on it. The Equal Rights Amendment is something that is ratified by the right number of states, but not within the right time frame. There's a video down below on it, and I might end up doing a walkthrough on the main channel. Don't know if this is for Bell or D, but either way, I was hoping one of y'all could talk about the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. One of the liberal justices is retiring, and if a Republican wins her seat, the court will once again have a conservative majority. If that happens, what are the chances that the old gerrymandered legislative map is reinstituted before 2026? Do y'all know anything about the state of this race? Thanks for any info you can share. Well, the race is between liberal Susan Crawford and conservative Brad Schimmel. If Crawford wins, the court will lean liberal until 2028. There's recently been an accusation of ethics violations against the conservative. Crawford said, quote, "He's given his hot takes on cases headed to the Supreme Court based on what he reads in the newspapers. That is actually a violation of our state judicial code, and it's not something you'll hear me engaging in. That accusation is likely to start the mudslinging and full-on campaigning." Okay, so that looks like it. A little more information and a little more context, and having the right information will make all the difference. Y'all have a good day.